the Hulk is strong? Broly sneezes and defeats planets. By the way, that's a good question. Who would win in a fight, Hulk or Broly? Leave your bets in the comments. Now, back to the topic at hand. Have you ever stopped to think about how a being can reach absurd levels of power? Get ready, because today we're going to dissect the bizarre anatomy of this legendary Saiyan. Did you know that Broly's cries as a baby were so powerful they caused earthquakes on the planet Vegeta? Believe it or not, that's just the beginning. Broly's power defies logic from the moment of his birth. While normal Saiyan babies have an insignificant power level, Broly was already born with a colossal latent power level of 10,000, far surpassing the average and even most adult Saiyans. To put that into perspective, Goku, at birth, had a power level of only 2. This outrageous disparity is attributed to an extremely rare genetic mutation, marking him as the Legendary Super Saiyan, a phenomenon that supposedly occurs only once every 1,000 years. This mutation doesn't just manifest as an initial power spike, it grants him practically unlimited growth potential. Unlike regular Saiyans who rely on rigorous training, Zenkais, post-injury power-ups, and progressive transformations to increase their strength, Broly ascends to unimaginable levels of power simply by existing. The key to this exponential growth lies in his uncontrollable rage. This rage acts as a catalyst, a trigger that unleashes the dormant latent energy within him. The angrier he gets, the more powerful he becomes, creating a terrifying feedback loop. It's as if his anger itself is the fuel that powers his overwhelming strength. Imagine an inexhaustible source of energy, fueled by the most primal and destructive emotion. It's almost unfair, isn't it? He basically came into life with a cheat code activated. The legendary mutation doesn't just grant him raw power, but also accelerated adaptation, allowing him to absorb the energy from attacks he receives and convert it into even more strength. He is the embodiment of Saiyan evolution taken to the extreme. How his powers work: the biological reactor of destruction. Picture an unstable nuclear reactor, pulsating with uncontrollable energy, precariously contained within a human body. That's the closest image we can conjure to describe how Broly's powers function. The legendary mutation that defines him acts like an internal furnace, generating an absurd amount of ki energy, the vital energy that permeates the Dragon Ball universe and powers Saiyan abilities. However, in Broly's case, this energy is amplified to levels that defy comprehension, creating constant internal pressure-seeking release. This pressure manifests physically as a crackling, menacing emerald green aura that envelops his body. As he fights and grows angrier, this pressure increases exponentially, distorting his muscles, expanding his body to grotesque proportions, and transforming him into an avatar of destruction. On a cellular level, it's speculated that the legendary mutation alters the very structure of his cells, creating super-developed organelles capable of storing and releasing unimaginable amounts of energy. This process generates a hellish feedback loop, where each burst of power fuels the next, pushing him to ever higher levels of strength. Mentally, Broly is a prisoner of his own power. The raw energy coursing through him completely dominates him, plunging him into an irrational berserker state, where reason and control are replaced by animalistic fury. He becomes incapable of distinguishing friend from foe, driven solely by the instinct to destroy. In my opinion, this lack of control, this unpredictability, this indomitable primal force is what makes him so terrifying. He's not just strong, he's a force of nature personified. Description of powers. Broly possesses all the standard Saiyan abilities, but with such amplified potency that he stands alone. He flies, of course, but with speed and agility that defy physics. His superhuman strength isn't limited to lifting mountains. He pulverizes them with casual blows. His speed is so extreme that he vanishes from sight, reappearing in the blink of an eye to deliver devastating strikes. He fires energy blasts, Kai blasts, with the power of miniature supernovas, capable of vaporizing entire continents. And, like most Saiyans, he masters the art of transformation, reaching power levels that border on the divine. But what truly sets him apart are the unique and terrifying manifestations of his power. Let's break down some specific examples from his arsenal. Eraser Cannon. This is no ordinary Kai blast. It's Broly's signature technique, a concentrated, pulsating sphere of emerald green energy that represents pure annihilation. Unlike conventional energy blasts, the Eraser Cannon doesn't just cause an explosion. It disintegrates matter at the subatomic level, erasing everything in its path as if it never existed. Entire planets tremble before this devastating power, and even the most resilient warriors hesitate to face it head-on. The eraser cannon can be fired at varying levels of intensity, from smaller blasts for weaker opponents to gigantic spheres capable of destroying entire solar systems. Imagine the destructive power of a dwarf star condensed into a single attack. It's spine-chilling. Gigantic breath. Broly channels his ki into a deafening roar, releasing a concussive shockwave that obliterates everything within kilometers. This technique doesn't just knock opponents down, it disintegrates them, pulverizes them, erases them from existence. It's a brutal display of his raw, uncontrollable power, a primal force that manifests as pure destruction. Gigantic breath proves that for Broly, even the act of breathing can become a weapon of mass annihilation. Omega Blaster. Considered his most powerful attack, the Omega Blaster represents the culmination of all his rage and power. Broly gathers a colossal amount of ki energy, forming a massive green sphere that outshines the sun itself. When released, this sphere transforms into a wave of pure energy capable of destroying entire realities. The Omega Blaster is the ultimate manifestation of the legendary Super Saiyan's power and apocalyptic attack that challenges the very definition of strength: accelerated regeneration. Beyond his devastating offensive arsenal, Broly possesses an impressive regenerative ability. Even when sustaining significant damage, his body recovers within seconds, allowing him to continue fighting tirelessly. This accelerated regeneration, combined with his nearly limitless endurance, makes him practically indestructible. What makes Broly truly terrifying is his ability to adapt and grow exponentially during combat. He doesn't just withstand incoming attacks, he absorbs them, converting the attack's energy into more power for himself, fueling his rage and further amplifying his strength. It's an endless cycle of destruction, where every attempt to stop him only makes him stronger, more relentless, more terrifying. His limits? Still a mystery. He is the personification of cosmic scale destruction, the incarnation of pure chaos. What makes him special and powerful? What sets Broly apart and elevates him to living legend status is the unique combination of three factors: his innate brute strength, which places him above any other Saiyan from birth; his exponential energy growth during combat, fueled by his uncontrollable rage; and the legendary Super Saiyan transformation, a form that multiplies his base power by an unknown factor, turning him into an unstoppable force of nature. He doesn't fight with strategy, refined technique, or elaborate martial arts. He simply crushes his opponents with pure brute force that transcends human understanding and approaches the divine. His blind rage, which might be considered a weakness, actually contributes to his aura of unpredictability and danger, making him a volatile and uncontrollable entity. He doesn't calculate, he reacts. He doesn't think, he destroys. Broly is the materialization of unchecked Saiyan power, the embodiment of primal destruction, the incarnation of the legendary Super Saiyan. And it's precisely this combination of incomprehensible power and unbridled fury that makes him so fascinating, so terrifying, and so legendary. He represents the pinnacle of destructive power in the Dragon Ball universe, a constant reminder of the limitless and frightening potential that resides within every Saiyan. Conclusion: Broly is more than just a character. He's a phenomenon, a genetic anomaly, a walking ki hurricane, the personification of Saiyan destruction. His bizarre anatomy, shaped by a legendary mutation, transforms him into one of the most powerful and terrifying beings in the Dragon Ball universe. He's proof that sometimes sheer brute force can overpower any technique or strategy. Broly is a constant reminder of the immeasurable power that permeates the cosmos of Dragon Ball, and how that power can be both beautiful and terrifying at the same time. He is the legend. So, what did you think of Broly's bizarre anatomy? Leave a comment below about which character you'd like to see dissected in the next video. Thanks for your time and support, and remember, never piss off a legendary Super Saiyan.